Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be watching the second part of the second debate. Lots going on. Let's begin. So at the start of the debate, they're having their speeches, and this has got to be my favorite one.
Andrew Yang.
If you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that someone is running for president who wants to give every American $1,000 a month.
Party! Let's see how much this is going to cost America. Now, America has 329 million people times 1,000. Each month, it's going to cost the Treasury or wherever the money's coming from, $329 billion for this idea to go through.
I know this may sound like a gimmick, but this is a deeply American idea, from Thomas Paine to Martin Luther King to today.
I've never heard of this before.
Let me tell you why we need to do it and how we pay for it. Why do we need to do it? We already automated away millions of manufacturing jobs, and chances are your job could be next. If you don't believe me, just ask an auto worker here in Detroit. How do we pay for it? Raise your hand in the crowd if you've seen stores closing where you live. It is not just you. Amazon
Is it just one person?
Raise your hand in the crowd if you've seen stores closing where you live. It is not just you. Amazon is closing 30% of America's stores and malls and paying zero in taxes while doing it. We need to do the opposite of much of what we're doing right now, and the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. So let me share the math.
This should be good. I'd love to hear his math.
$1,000 a month.
Hey, before we even get to his math, I haven't heard it. I just know that it's not going to be an equation. It's going to be some sort of gibberish.
$1,000 a month for every adult would be $461 million every month right here in Detroit alone. The automation of our jobs is a central challenge facing us today. It is why Donald Trump is our president, and any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
So let's get this straight. His math is, I'm just going to give you guys money. Is that what it is? Carry on.
Joe Biden.
Tonight, I think Democrats are expecting some engagement here, and I expect we'll get it.
Looking right at Kamala. Kamala. I don't know.
Vice President Biden's campaign calls your plan, quote, a have it every which way approach, and says it's just part of a confusing pattern of equivocating about your healthcare stance. What do you say to that?
I need a dictionary to figure out what that means.
What do you say to that?
Well, they're probably confused because they've not read it. But the reality is that I have been spending time in this campaign listening to American families. I listened to the American families who said 4 years is just not enough to transition into this new plan. So I devised a plan where it's going to be 10 years of a transition.
Sounds legit, but how did that conversation even go? Hi, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm running for president. And then some farmer would be like, well, you know, Camilla, I looked over your plan for healthcare, and I just don't think we can do it in 4 years. Maybe 10 years, but not 4. Nobody would come to that conclusion. And if they did, at first sight of Kamala Harris, you'd be asking for an autograph. You wouldn't be condescending in any way.
But the reality is that I have been spending time in this campaign listening to American families.
Or was it like a survey that was sent out? Because those are really good.
I listened to the American families who said 4 years is just not enough to transition into this new plan. So I devised a plan where it's going to be 10 years of a transition.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Biden, your response.
Well, my response is that the senators had several plans so far. And anytime someone tells you you're going to get something good in 10 years, you should wonder why it takes 10 years.
What's funny is that, like, most people think in like 2 to 4 year increments. Like, if you have a job, you're probably thinking you're going to have a raise or a promotion in 2 years. So your life in 2 years is going to be far different from your life right now. And your problems right now aren't going to be your problems in 2 years. So having the 10-year plan is kind of, it's logical, but it's not receptive.
Trust the American people to make the right decision and have universal health care in this country in 2 years, not 10 years.
It is important that you understand that our Medicare for All plan has actually, by the architect of the Obama Affordable Care Act, been described as one of the most effective ways to bring health care to all. Kathleen Sebelius has endorsed our plan.
Ooh. She's taking Biden's people and using them against him. Smart, smart.
Now, Kamala Harris just talked about Kathleen Sebelius, who helped write her bill. This just pointed to the fatal flaw in her proposal. Sebelius works for Medicare Advantage, private insurance company who will stand to profit under her plan.
Look at her face. She just looks mad.
Senator Harris, your response?
Well, unfortunately, Representative Gabbard got it wrong. Kathleen Sebelius did not write my plan. She endorsed it.
So if I endorse a plan that is going to make me money off other people, does it really matter who wrote it?
And when we talk about this again, I'm going to go back to Vice President Biden.
Just looking at their faces, you can tell who won that argument and who lost it.
And what we have to do now is we have to have a form that sits in the HHS and says, as you develop a drug, you got to come to us and decide what you can sell it for. We will set the price. And secondly, it says that you cannot raise that price beyond the cost of inflation from this point on.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Obama taught him well. Sit, boy.
From this point on.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sit. Carry on.
From the plan that Senator Warren and Senator Sanders and Senator Harris have proposed, which would make illegal employer-based health insurance in this country and massively raise taxes on the middle class to the tune of $30 trillion, as Joe Biden said. We don't need to do that. It doesn't make sense.
My plan does not offer anything that is illegal. What it does is it separates the employer from health care, meaning that where you work will not be the kind of health care you get will not be a function of where you work. I have met so many Americans who stick to a job that they do not like, where they are not prospering, simply because they need the health care that that employer provides. It's time that we separate employers from the kind of health care people get, and under my plan, we do that.
We need to be honest about what's in this plan. It bans employer-based insurance and taxes the middle class to the tune of $30 trillion. Do you know how much that is? That is 70% of what the government will collect in taxes over the next 10 years.
$43 trillion that the government is going to make off of taxes in the next 10 years. And somehow 30 trillion of that is going to go to healthcare? Like,
certainly, with all due respect to Senator Bennett, what he's saying is absolutely inaccurate.
that guy just seems like a one-upper. You know, like you say something and then he'll one-up you, whatever it is. You got a Porsche, he has a Ferrari, you know.
About taxes. Americans right now are paying so much money for their health care. Ask people about the reality of premiums, deductibles, co-pays, out-of-pocket expenses. That's worse than any tax.
What they need is a politician that is going to go up on stage and be like, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to copy what Canada's doing. It's no secret. I'm just going to look at their books and copy and paste everything that they're doing for healthcare and replicate it here in the United States. That's it. That's all you got to do.
But this pitting against progressives, against moderates, saying one is unrealistic and the other doesn't care enough, that to me is dividing our party and demoralizing us in face of the real enemy here.
Thank
and
you,
I'm
Senator.
going to keep fighting for that.
Thank you, Senator Booker.
So Senator Booker is taking this peaceful approach, which is smart because you really don't want the Democrats fighting each other too much. Like if there's too much infighting going on, then Donald Trump is winning. And that's what Booker is saying, which is smart.
You have indicated that you don't think it should be a criminal offense punishable by jail to cross the U.S. border illegally. How do you respond to Senator Bennett?
They would not let us enter the place, members of the United States Congress. So I walked down the road, I climbed the ladder, and I looked over the fence. And I'm going to tell you what I saw. I saw children lined up single file based on gender, being walked into barracks. The policies of this administration have been facilitated by laws on the book that allow them to be incarcerated as though they've committed crimes.
That is so messed up. Like, I hope by the end of this, Trump gets put in one of those cages. And Don Jr. Yeah. In fact, all the Trumps should be put in there. And they get one cage and we videotape what happens. New reality show. And then we sell this show to every country in the world. Okay? And we make billions off it. So the American economy, in fact, is getting rich off of Donald Trump, as he promised. So the big question is, has Joe Biden already promised Tulsi Gabbard he'd pick her as a running mate for vice president? Pick her as his running mate for vice president.
He is going through the cornfield and checking other people. So the corn, that's symbol of other runmates for him. And people are whispering to him in his ear, she's a good one. But I don't think he made any commitment yet. He is just searching. And it's so hard to go through the cornfield. I never worked, but I can imagine that that's such a trouble. But she is on his list. So he is probably, and then we will see what the cards are saying. That's what I see. So people are telling him, I don't know if he wants to make commitment yet, because the later the better for him. So the others wouldn't attack him. So if that will come out that he is, okay, say cut.
Cut.
Okay, and pull 3 cards. I will pull that one because it's coming.
Okay.
Okay. And big change. So he is ready for a big change. He might have someone else before. So he is ready for, maybe Kamala was on his list.
Kamala Harris was on his list.
She was friend of his son. And then she threw him out on him. So he is ready for the change now. He's thinking about making that decision. So he is thinking he wants to get out of the darkness and be on the light. So he wants someone who will have the same views as him, but he still wants to be in the power. So by not announcing yet, he feels that that's what it is. Yeah, he wants to go to the top first. He wants to go how far he is really going, because that's the card that wanted to come in. Okay.
Will.
Oh, you have
Will. Yeah, one more question.
for the same subject for
Yes,
for
for
Biden.
the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you
No,
dropped
yeah.
a card there.
Oh, okay.
Will Tulsi Gabbard be Joe Biden's running mate? All right, thanks for watching. Join me again. Leave a comment and a like and subscribe.